Hi there, it's me again, Mr. Jamar Largo de la Cruz. It's week 7 and 8 with the course Academic English 1000016. I hope you're going to stay with me and let's learn together. See ya!
Hi, hello. So this is Mr. Jamar Largo de la Cruz, and this is 10016 Academic English. So this is week 7 to 8. So I hope that you are going to stay with me until the end and let's learn. So let's go now to the objectives. So the first objective is you are going to
10-minute presentation. Use visuals effectively. Excuse me. Structure an abstract. Connect parts of an abstract using linking words. Identify the reader, type, and purpose of academic text. Understand the similarities and differences between text and structure of an abstract. Extract gist and specific information from oral part of presentation. So let's start with the reading. Lesson one is publishing matters. Okay, so it's all about the publishing materials. Now, to start with, the work in pairs and answer the questions. How do you usually search for publications you need to read? What types of publications materials do you find most helpful in your teaching or research? So there's so many sites where you can find articles like example, the Google Scholar, the ResearchGate, Academia, and also the Google Chrome itself. So it's really easy to find articles right nowadays. In ResearchGate, I always used to read the ResearchGates, Academia, and of course the Google Scholar. All right, so how do you usually search for publication? What types of published materials do you find most useful in your teaching research? So let's talk about that one. For reading focus one, are you familiar with the international magazines and journals? What is the target readership? So we have here so many journals here that I mentioned below, and the journal are the Scientific American, the Economist, Teaching Sociology, Cosmopolitan, Journal of Conflict Resolution, Business and Management Review. So we have Scientific American. It's all about American science enthusiasts and researchers, the economists, business professionals, and policymakers, the teaching sociology teachers and educators, cosmopolitan, young women lifestyle, then journal researchers and scholars. Business and management review is business academics and managers. Moving on. So the texts below are all intended for different categories of reader. Okay, so number one, read them quickly and identify their target readership. What helps you to decide? Okay, for peer review policy, all research articles in this journal have undergone rigorous peer review. This is the Oxford Review of Education. All research articles in this journal have undergone rigorous peer review. Okay. Next, letter B. Okay. So letter B we have there abstract. Okay. From 1 to 5. All right. So effect of low light and high noise on behavioral activity. Then this is the abstract. Okay. Next, originality. Okay, the letter C is the editor who has approached you may not know your work intimately. So originality. So let's see. Humans in the computer world. That's letter D. So, answer the questions below. So we have here which of the text contains information given in brackets? Why are they used? Which information is given in bold and why? Okay. Explain the logic behind the section in each text. Which text contains information in brackets? It's text B. The reason is that brackets are used to give extra technical information or clarification, such as measurements or explanation. So, which information is given in bold? Text B, abstract. And then reason, bold text is used to highlight information, important sections, or headings so readers can quickly find the main parts of the article. What is written in italics in the text? It's text A, Oxford Review of Education and the review. So the italics are used for titles of journals or publications. Number four, explain the logic behind the sections in each text. Text A, description of the journal, editorial policy, peer review policy. Let text B, title, author's abstract, numbered explanation of the study. Text C is advice for reviewers, evaluation criteria, section on originality. And text D is description of the journal, main topic area, specific research areas. So an abstract usually has standard structure. Put the elements of an abstract below in order. Does the abstract in text B have all these elements? We have number one, findings, reason for writing, conclusion, methodology, process, and problem. So remember this one. These are the elements of an abstract. So we have findings, reason for our writing, conclusion, methodology, process, and problem. So moving on, we have here the letter E. And now read the abstract below. The E, okay? And answer the questions. Does this abstract have the same structure as the abstract in text B? Does it contain all the elements listed in activity 6? What are the major differences between the two abstracts? Which types of article mentioned in text D would they belong to? Activity 7. Mostly yes. Okay. The abstract in E have the same structure as B, mostly, but it's shorter and less detailed. It includes reason, method, findings, and conclusions. Major differences between the two abstracts. The text B, experimental scientific study, uses measurements and experiments. It's very technical. The text E, however, is having literature review, discusses previous studies, more conceptual and theoretical. And then number three, which types of article in text D do they belong? Text B. Because text B is empirical article based on experiments and data, and text E is theoretical. It's about the reviewing the article or review of articles. All right, so that's it. So we are done with the reading. So let's go now to the listening. Unit 4, the listening is in the audience. By the end of this unit, the students will extract the gist and specific information from oral presentations and use a variety of strategies of listening to a presentation. Let's move on now. So, lesson one, your participation is welcome. So, to start, what is the difference between three lecture and a presentation? So, use the dictionary interest. So, experience, and the words and phrases in the box. So by the end of this unit, students will extract the gist, remember? So let's see. Okay. Presentation. It's a formal talk in which you describe or explain something to a group of people. Give or make a presentation on something. Lecture, a talk to a group of people about a particular subject. Mainly, you are teaching, okay? A college or university. Give a lecture on something. Okay, so presentation, you are going to have a formal talk, describe, explain something on a group of people, then use presentation or something like PPT or anything that you are offering. For lecture, is all discussion and teaching. So that's the difference between presentation and lecture. Let's proceed now. So words and phrases. So we have the length, students, lecturers, managers, project, problem, relationship with the audience, and of course the visual support, university teachers, administrators, research organization, and interactive. Strategy focus. Okay, so let's move on. Work in pairs, go through activities 2 and 5 and match the sub skills below to the activity you practice it in. For effective listening, we need to develop the following skills. Identifying when a familiar word is part of a prepositional phrase, identifying related words, noticing the unstressed parts in a phrase, de-identifying the functional difference between related words, relating what you hear to previous knowledge. Let's continue and moving on. Let's listen to the presentation opener and complete the overview slide. So the presentation review, what are blank in general? So let's answer this. Okay, so let's listen.
Track 56.
I'm going to talk to you today about research ethics. And it's really nice to see so many people from so many different universities here, and also from so many different disciplines. Thank you for coming along. The talk will be about 15 minutes, and I'm going to divide it into sections. To get an overview, you might like to look at the screen. First, I'm going to try to define ethics in general. I'm not Aristotle, Socrates, or a Greek philosopher, but I'm going to make an attempt to do that, and to look at what the different kinds of ethics are. Then I'm going to focus on research ethics in particular, what exactly they are and what they mean in an institution. I will then look at whether the dimensions of research ethics are different in humanities on the one hand and in the STEM disciplines on the other hand. You can see what STEM stands for, the science, technology, engineering and mathematical disciplines. After that, I'm going to look at why some researchers are sometimes not ethical. What are the pressures that they work under? Finally, we're going to have a quick look at, and this is where your participation will be welcome, a quick look at what you can do within a university department to make sure that you behave ethically in your research.
Very good. So let's go now. Look at the phrases below from the presentation opener. There is one mistake in each phrase. One, I'm going to talk to you today about research methods, and it's really nice. Thank you for coming alone, and so on. Please read. Work in groups of 3 and prepare a presentation opener. You can use the following phrases to help you. So these are the following phrases, useful following phrases to help you. Today I'm going to talk to you about blah, blah, blah. I'm going to divide the talk into, first I'm going to, and so on. Finally, for the last one. Lesson 2, the 3 golden rules. Remember this one? Read the statements below and say whether you agree with them or not. Why or why not? Give an example for activities 2 and 6. When you listen to a longer piece of speaking, it is important to identify key words. Keywords are usually stressed and pronounced more distinctly. And stressed words can often be inferred based on context and the key words. Some English words, phrases can be easily confused. You need to practice understanding the differences between them. Lesson 2, the three golden rules. Language focus. So let's read let's read in pairs of phrases. How are they different? Listen and take the phrase you hear. So let's listen.
Track 60.
So, what are research ethics? Well, actually, they touch all three levels: the personal, the professional and the institutional level, and the legal level. And there are three golden rules which govern ethics across all disciplines, whether we're talking here about the humanities, the social sciences, or those STEM groups of disciplines in universities. These three golden rules are, first of all, respect, and this is respect for other human beings, respect for your colleagues, respect for other researchers in the field, and respect for society at large. And there must also be respect for life.
Listening for gist and for specific information. So to listen to what the speaker says about the three golden rules of research and check the most important keywords or phrases used. Give the reason. The first rule, respect research subjects, human participants, object of research, animals, the environment, conversations, confidential, and anonymous. The second rule, truth, honesty, standards, field of research, individual, research evidence, hypothesis. And the third rule, accuracy, the quality of knowledge, the best tools and instruments, collection of data.
Track 61.
These three golden rules are, first of all, respect, and this is respect for other human beings, respect for your colleagues, respect for other researchers in the field, and respect for society at large. And there must also be respect for life. So, human participants in research must always be respected. You can never treat a human participant as just an object of research. Their humanity always takes precedence over the research that you are doing. A researcher in linguistics, for example, cannot secretly record the natural conversations of people on a bus or in a train station without the knowledge and agreement of those people. A researcher in psychology or sociology has to make sure that all the data they have on a participant is confidential and that the participant is anonymous. Respect for life doesn't just mean human life. Respect for animals and the environment is also important. And research is all about improving knowledge in a field, but never at the expense of losing your respect for your subjects. The second golden rule is truth and honesty. Truth and honesty are a really key part of research ethics. They make sure that standards remain high, and it means that researchers must always be objective and honest in what they do. An important point here is that the field of research is always more important than the individual researcher. It must sometimes be hard for researchers to discover new evidence that proves that their ideas are right or wrong, but if they have respect for their discipline, then they must be honest and admit when they are wrong. Sometimes you can spend years chasing a hypothesis, and then you finally find that you've been barking up the wrong tree. You can be dishonest, or you can be honest about it. And of course, researchers have to be honest and have to tell the truth. If you are honest and you tell the truth, you'll be trusted by others working in the same field. The third golden rule is accuracy. Every researcher wants to improve the quality of knowledge in their own field. So they have to plan their research carefully. They have to choose the best tools and instruments for carrying out their research. They have to keep accurate records of every stage of their research, accurate collection of data, and all the correspondence which surrounds research. So I think you can argue that these three core golden rules, core values of ethics, apply right across the spectrum of disciplines, regardless of whether they are social science, humanities, or STEM research areas.
Oh, sorry. Part of the presentation. Give reasons. Research ethics ought to be applied on all three levels: personal, professional, and legal, in any field of research. There are three main rules that ought to be applied in any field of research. Respect for human beings is the basis for research ethics in any field of research. Listen to the talk again and make notes on the questions below. What is the most important example of research in ethics and psychology? What is the result of ethical behavior in research? What are the 5 things that make up accuracy in research according to the speaker? So let's listen to the talk again. Very good. So that's the end of speaking. So let's go now to lesson 3, working with visuals. To start with, work in groups. Think about the presentation you have seen at conferences. Create a list of do's and don'ts for an effective slide-based presentation. Use phrases from the language support boxes on opinions on page 109 and agreement and disagreement on page 111 to help you express opinions and agree or disagree with each other. Okay, so let's do this. Lesson 3, working with visuals. To start, the do here, give a title to each slide. That's very important. Don't use complete sentence. Okay, at least use complete sentences. Do not use complete sentences. It's not necessary. Okay, it's not necessary to do that one. However, if you are, example, teaching about reading, it's gonna be long because you are going to mention those things. Unless this person has a book or the students have the complete copy of the book. However, if they don't have and you want to give information, you can do that, but not everything. Okay, so again, the do is give a title to each slide. Do not use complete sentences. Okay, improving slides, outline slides, prompt, conclusion slide, background. So a point or slide that you use in your presentation. It can be a word, a figure, or a short phrase. The part at the back of the slide, not the main words. Okay? And pictures. The viewer looks at a slide containing a general plan of what you are going to present. D, a slide summarizing the key points of your presentation. So to go to page 129 and read the slides checklist. Match the words and phrases below from the checklist to their definition. Let's read. Most policymakers, corporate executives, and so on, please read. I will give you time. All right, thank you for reading. Let's proceed. The language focus of this writing is that find the following words in the abstract in the word that is close in the meaning to these verbs: to believe, to imagine, to suppose. The word that is opposite in the meaning to these verbs: to collect, to gather. The verb that is close meaning to this verb is to investigate and to study. A noun that comes from the verb is the verb to assume. A pair of verbs, one of which means continued and the other means change. Number 1, the word that is closest meaning to the verb to believe is assume. I give you the answer below. And number 2 is distributing, okay, to collect, to gather. Examine or examines for investigate and study. Number 4 is to assume is assumption. You're assuming. And then for number 5, a pair of verbs, one of which means continued and the other means changed. The first one is sustained, which is continued, and then change is altered. Okay, so be mindful of these words. Thank you for this one. So underline the phrases that help you identify the parts of abstract. Explain your answer. The phrase most policymakers shows the author has read a number of papers and now presents this information as background of the research. Next, read the examples of linking words in the language support box. Say what the underlined words mean. Fill in the gaps with the highlighted words from the abstract language support linking words. Words are used to enumerate initially and so on. Please continue this. All right, language support words used to enumerate is initially, firstly, secondly, thirdly, next, and finally. Words that express causation, thus, as a result, because, therefore. Please be mindful of this one. Words that express contrast and comparison, although, however, whereas, likewise, in contrast. Words to use generalize, overall, in general, in short, to conclude, okay, or and generally. Please remember these words because these are very useful in speaking and, of course, in writing as well, especially if you're going to make a presentation. Put the letters in order to make a word, okay? So, number 1 is thus. In this way, hence or so. Number 2 is therefore, okay? As a result, for that reason, consequently. Number 3 is likewise, okay? Also, similarly, additionally. Number 4 is however, okay? In addition, however, nevertheless, nonetheless, although. Number 5 is furthermore. It means in addition, moreover, besides. Number 6 is initially. It means at first, at the beginning. And number 7, overall, on the whole or generally. All right, very good. Remember these things. These are very useful in your speaking as well, not just only in writing and speaking, and also in doing your presentation. Read the abstract below and say how the use of technology in university classes influences the way students study. I'll give you time to read. Please read. Very good. Next one. Okay. Now let's use the transitional words a while ago. So this is the answer for activity 12. How technology influences the way students study. Technology in university classes improves study preparation, participation, attentiveness, learning, and note taking, quality, but somehow some behaviors such as study, time, and attendance, and so on. Thank you so much for watching about our topic for week 7 and 8. I hope you're learning from this unit and you are ready for your presentation, your speaking, and making of abstract. Thank you so much.